What a day. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. We did it. If you could see me and I could see you, it means you made it. Shannon, you made it. Congratulations. Happy New Year's. Jacobus, we know you made it. TT Brown, get down to the get down. You made it. Ben David Smith, you made it. Jack Willetta, you made it. Cheryl, you made it. Rosalind Young wants to be in my video? Nah, but you made it. God bless you to everyone. Juana, Joanna, Love Being Me, Ortez, you made it. Steph McCoy, you made it. Miss Shay, you made it. Everyone who is looking at me now, over 684 people and counting. Terry, you made it. Everyone, if you're looking at me, you have made it. You have made it another year. So, I'm applauding you. So since you're on here, let's have a talk, shall we? Had a busy day. Call myself resting. I said to my husband, the great Apostle Freddie Gooden III, and y'all, he preached yesterday, that I was going to rest because on Mondays I tried to do that. Didn't go so well. 2022, my new name is Juggernaut J. Aroma Lewis, I love you. Thank you for everything. Juggernaut J means this. A juggernaut is an unstoppable force. It means by any means necessary, it will run through walls and boulders with such force to get things done. So that's my name in 2022. It's Juggernaut J. It means that there's going to be such a force behind everything that I do until time will be a factor. Hey, G is dad. And so I want to talk to you about that for a moment. I want to read something to you. And if you're on here, I'm going to give you an opportunity to log on. And if you're not, maybe you'll have to catch the replay. But I want to talk to you about something. A juggernaut is somebody that is very forceful. It's the aggression that causes things to move at a momentum of fierce energy. Jameliah, bless you. I want to read something to you. Greetings, London. I am on my way to the UK. That's right. All the details will be up. If you're in London, CCM London, we'll be coming to you. She Favor, I hope you guys are ready. Misha, I'm glad you're on here. So watch this. I'm going to read something to you. And I want you to turn it up and hopefully you'll get the gist of what I'm saying. Or maybe if you got to marinate on it, go back and listen to the replay. But I want to read something to you. In 2007, in San Francisco, California, two young men, CCM Jamaica, bless you, two young men by the name of Brian Chesky and Joe Gibbia. They were roommates in San Francisco, California. These two young men could not afford their rent. They were living in a small apartment. And what happened is one decided to take an air mattress and sleep on his friend's floor. He began to sleep on his friend's floor and he said, I cannot afford my rent. His friend said, well, what I'm going to let you do, I'm going to let you crash here. His friend crashed on his floor in San Francisco, California in 2007. And they were roommates, but classmates in college. Something happened. He got together in 2008 with this other young man by the name of Nathan Bloksharsky. They got together and they formulated something. But something happened. They got an idea. Loretta Henderson and Cece in Miami, they got an idea. They got together, the three of them, and they started something. They started an organization that most people on here have been a part of and or might be looking, especially when She Favor comes. They got together at the age of 37, and they could not afford their rent until the founder, Brian Chesky, came up with an idea. The idea that he came up with, which everyone knows now as Airbnb. This young man that could not pay his rent at the age of 37, sleeping on his friend's floor, is now worth $4.2 billion, according to Forbes magazine. Now watch the emojis go, wow. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because this young man who was 37 years old could not pay his rent. And he couldn't pay his rent in 2008, but is now worth $4.2 billion. Because what he did was, he stayed true to what he believed God gave him to do. What do I do in 2022? You're saying, I cannot keep living this way. What do I do in 2022? I cannot keep going this way. Something's got to give. That's what you say. There is no way in the world I can continue to go the way that I am going. And I know that everybody may not like what I'm going to say, but there are so many things. There's so many things that you have to pay attention to this story. This young man, Brian Chesky, didn't give up. Even though he could not afford his rent, he didn't give up. Even though he had nowhere to stay, he didn't give up. Even though he could have said, this is too hard, I don't want to do this anymore, I don't like my living situation, he did not give up. Something happened with 2,000 people watching me that could be happening to a lot of you. I don't need y'all to give up in 2022. I need you guys to keep going. Use the force of a juggernaut behind what you got and build something great. Watch this. I want to read something to you because something happened to this young man that happens to us all every single day. Every single day, something happens to you. Now, I got to ask you a question in 2022. What are you going to do? Are you going to give up? Are you going to say this is too hard? Are you going to say I don't want to do this anymore? Are you going to continue to do what you do, whatever it is that you do that's not making sense? Let me teach you how to pray. I want to show you something. In 1 Kings 3, 1 and 5, it says that this man named Solomon, he did something. He prayed. Now, this is where most of us get it, especially those of us in the African American community. We give up a little bit too fast. But what he did is he did something. He prayed for an idea. I'm going somewhere. In 1 Kings 3, 1 and 5, I'm going to go all the way down to 6. Solomon answered, you have shown great kindness to your servant, my dad, David, because he was faithful. To you, you are righteous and you are upright. So I understand how you looked out for my father. Solomon is having a dialogue. You've continued with his greatness and his kindness, and you gave him me as a son to sit on the throne every single day as king. But I need something greater than what you've given my dad. Now the Lord God, he said, you have made yourself a king in place of your father. I get it, God. I'm not taking all of you've given me for granted. But there is something greater that I need. But he said, I am an only child, and I do not know how to carry out all of my duties. He's saying, I am the only child that is sitting in this responsibility or sitting in a responsible place. See, even though David had many children, there was one specific child that sat on the throne that required him to teach, learn, and to produce. Watch this. He said, I'm only a little child, and I really don't know how. There is where you miss it. I don't know how. I don't know how. I'm going somewhere. I don't know how. He is now conversing with God saying, I really don't know how. Even though I'm sitting here, I need to learn what to do in 2022. I need to learn what to do. How do I execute with everything going on around me? How do I execute this strategy, this idea? How do I relocate? How do I start a business? How do I turn my life around, is what he is saying. Tell me what to do in 2022. Watch this. He said, I need to learn how to carry out the assignment. Now, everybody might have preached, I understand the assignment, and I know T Bunny is just quality, she's getting a check for that song. But suppose God said to you, what are you going to do in 2022 with what I gave you last year? What are you going to do in 2022 that's going to produce you to be better than what you've ever been before in your life? I'm going somewhere. Someone said that was my exact prayer yesterday. So if those who pray the prayer, what am I doing in 2022? You need to go ahead and give an emoji with a teardrop, because God's got to give you an answer right now. He said, you are the servant. He said, but I am your servant. I'm here among the people you chose me to lead. The great people. They're too numerous for me to count. So what he is saying now is, I know as king, you have given me a lot to do concerning people. This is not just relative to me. I'm a mother. I need to know what to do concerning my kids. I'm a wife. I need to know what I do with my husband. I'm a single lady. What am I going to do being single? What am I going to do with 1,200 people who are under the sound of my voice? What am I going to do in 2022? This is what you ask. He understood this, Solomon said. I got a lot of duties with a lot of people, and there's so many of them. I want them all to win. I need them to get it. So I need you to do something for me, God. He's now praying. Now, this is where you miss it, because y'all don't know how to pray concerning specific. Oh, Lynn, Lynn, we got this, Lynn. Don't cry. We got this, Lynn. Y'all have to know how to pray in 2022 about what you must do. And so God says to me when I was studying this today, you're going to learn and execute how to pray and what my next move is in 2022. This is what this king did. He said, I need you to give me a spirit of discernment. He said, give your servant a discerning heart, how to handle business. Give your servant a discerning heart, how to make wise decisions on how I move. He said, so give your servant a discerning heart to govern your people and to distinguish between right decisions and wrong ones. He's saying, Brianna Hedden, he's saying, tell me what to do. Instead of moving, someone said, you are in the vein. Tiffany Jones, I got you. Instead of me moving in my flesh, don't let me move out of your will. He said, instead of me, watch this, instead of me doing which I believe is the right thing, please keep me from doing the wrong. He's saying, I need to know how to handle my affairs where it won't leave me in a whole bunch of heartbroken tears. I cannot lose money in this season. I don't care if I got to lose relationships in this season, but I need to do the right thing. Someone said this word, Leonard said, this word is on time. Show me, please. I want to relocate. It's getting a little bit too hard. I don't know how to do it. I trust you, God. But when it comes down to my next move, I don't know. I'm not done yet. He said, I need to know how to do this, please. He said, because you are able to do this. For you have the ability to help me govern these great decisions and people. Watch this. The Lord was pleased that Solomon asked for this. So God said to him, since you asked for this, not for a long life, and you ain't even asked for wealth for yourself, nor did you ask for death of your enemies. Hold on. I'm going somewhere. Hold on. When he could have said, God, I need you to deal with my enemies. When he could have said, God, I need you to deal with the hateful groups on Facebook. What he could have said was, God, I need you to deal with my ex-husband in the... Okay, y'all crying. Okay, I'm trying to eat this peach, but y'all crying. So I gotta, AJ Webster, where's your sister? When he could have said, I need you to deal with my ex that ain't helping me raise these kids. What he could have said was, I need you to deal with my son's baby mama that won't let me see my kids. What he could have said is, I need you to deal with the woman or the man that was in my life that I helped get on their feet and they told me to kiss their backside. What he could have said was, I need you to deal with my mama that won't watch my kids knowing that I'm trying to live a certain life. What he could have said was, whatever it is that causes me strife, I don't even want you to deal with that concerning my life. He said, put all of that on the back burner. He said, because what I need right now is going to surpass anything they can ever take down. He said, what I need you to do is I need you to even give me the wisdom, not just how to handle business, handle my life, but anything associated to my name and strife. Gosh, he said, I need you to help me. God said, since you ain't asked for none of that, Sean T said, come on now. I'm going to give you that and then some. See, you got to know how to pray when you're executing the strategy for your life. You got to know what to do when you don't know what to do. You need to know what to do when you don't know who to call. It's just you and God in 2022. It ain't nobody else. And God said, you really don't know what to do. You need to change how you pray. I'm going somewhere deeper. He said, I will do what you ask. I will give you a wise and a discerning heart. Do you know when you get a wise and a discerning heart, anything that is trying to tear you apart has to line up because you know how to handle the situation? Yeah. Some situations don't need your rage. Some situations need you to pray. Some situations don't need you to go and get them God. It simply means I know what to do, because if I lined up with God, even he says your very enemies will be at peace with you. And so you have to understand, how do I pray in 2022? What do I do? What do I do? So when God says, I'm going to give you wisdom, you use wisdom to deal with everything concerning your life. See, Solomon understood this. He said, I'm the king. I can take all them jokers out like that. He said, but nah, I'm not going to even waste my breath on that. It's too valuable. I need wisdom, because if I handle this the right way, I win. He says, I'm going to give you that. He said, so that there will never be anyone like you, nor will there ever be. When God gives you wisdom, everything that is associated with you turns out right. Right? My sister on here, Christy, how are you? He said, moreover, I will give you what you have not even asked for. Because you asked for wisdom, I'm going somewhere. I'm going to give you both. I'm reading the NIV. He said, because you didn't ask for a whole lot of money, you didn't ask for your enemies to get God. He said, you asked for wisdom. And because you asked for wisdom, he said, I'm going to give you a bonus. He said, the bonus that I'm going to give you is, I'm going to give you both. He said, I'm going to give you both, because what you could have asked for, you did not. You asked for wisdom. So I'm going to give you both. He said, I'm going to give you both wealth and honor. That means that everything that I give you that is going to succeed, everybody that try to come against you had no choice but to say, damn, no weapon formed against her, no weapon formed against him, really won't work. And they go somewhere and either, what they say, if you can't beat them, join them. But hatred never gets tired. That's why the Bible says it's cruel in the grave. And so ask for wisdom. Lonnie Applewhite, what's up? He said, ask for wisdom. And because you ask for wisdom, he said, I'm going to give you both. That's why God says, I got to give you double for your shame. He said, that's why I have to give you double for your shame. That's why you don't get upset when people try to come against you. When you're doing something in 2022, ask for wisdom how to execute the strategy. He said, now what I got to do, y'all crying. He said, I got to give you double for your shame. He said, this is Solomon. He said, I'm going to give you both. He said, I'm going to give you wealth and I'm going to give you honor. Watch this. Why would he give him honor associated with wealth? Because sometimes people will cause you to be disgusted in how you execute your ability to work. They'll say, I wouldn't do that. Well, why's she doing that? Psh, I wouldn't invest in that. Psh, that's stupid. Why would you do that? Watch this. You sleeping, watch this. You sleeping on your floor. That ain't never going to work. Those of you that are late, you need to watch the replay. You need to read what I wrote about a young man that was sleeping on the floor and that executed a strategy that he had in wisdom, and he could not pay his rent. His name is Brian Chesky, along with his friend, roommate, and classmate, Joe Gibbia. They could not pay their rent in 2007, and they're now worth $4.2 billion. They're the founders of Airbnb. So you missed that part. That's why you got to come in on time. So God said, oh, I got to give you wealth and honor. Watch this. Why are you sleeping on your floor? I'll go back home. And then his mom, I told you not to go out to San Francisco. You knew that wasn't going to work when you went in the first place. That's why God says, I got to now give you honor associated with what you do, because you're going to look quite foolish when you listen to God. Not done. He said, when I give you both wealth and honor, so that your lifetime you will have no equal among kings. That means your opinions ain't gonna matter. That means the competition ain't gonna matter. That means the chit chat ain't gonna matter. Because God said, now I gotta give you double for all the shame you went through in 2021. Hold on. Someone said, I need wisdom so much, so bad. Watch this. And if you walk in obedience to keep my decree and my command, as your dad did, I'll even give you long life. Then Solomon woke up. Solomon woke up and he realized it was all a dream. No, it wasn't just a dream. It was a vision. Let me say this to you. The Bible said without vision, the people perish. But most people are dreaming. I don't want to be a dreamer. Because even though Joseph was a dreamer, he had to experience a nightmare. And most of you really don't understand that in your dreaming, God says you got to know the difference between me giving you a vision and you dreaming. Most people will dream and never wake up and stay in la la land. But God said, what do you do in 2022? You follow your vision. The vision means that it's not going to perish, that you're going to keep on pushing until it comes to fruition. In 2022, your assignment is not to give up. You have to understand that this individual, he could have said, this is too hard. This is too hard. What you're going to do in 2022, you're going to pray for wisdom. You're going to pray for wisdom. I need a strategy. How do I get out of this? Someone said, I need to come to visit your church. Yes, I'm taking engagements. I'm taking engagements right now. Michelle, put it up. I'm taking engagements right now. 2022 is just about booked up. I'm going to be honest with you. But you could ask Michelle. As I sit here and I begin to read this book about these two individuals, because I love to read books on people who have failed. Thomas Edison failed to build the light bulb 200 times. And when they asked him, you keep failing to build the light bulb, Thomas Edison said, no, I just found 200 ways not to build the light bulb that way. Most of you give up too fast. You give up too fast. Do you know the enemy's job is to make you give up on something, because at the brink of when you stop saying this is going to work, the minute you say, I give up, The very thing that you push to make things come into fruition is right there at the brink of a breakthrough. See, that's why it's the small foxes that spoil the vine. Spoiling the vine takes time. It means it's a little bit of gnawing that they do that causes you to give up. And you cannot get there unless you allow yourself to receive it. And so whenever somebody says, I wouldn't do that, don't do that. I give up if I was you. No, you've been trying to do that for years. It's still not working. That, okay, oh Lord, they're crying. Okay. The minute you say you don't want to do something is when it's going to work. The race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but it's to the one that endures. It's the endurance that you need to understand you can succeed if you don't allow people to mess with your joy, to rock your faith, and tell you it's never going to work in the first place. What you pray for in 2022 is an exit strategy. You need to pray, God, teach me how to execute what you told me, and let me be obedient enough to follow suit. What you have to do is pray for not just discernment, all of you people who are dating. I'm so glad I realized something. That sometimes you can get off focus on what God wants you to do by running after something that God says is not ordained for you right now. That's where discernment comes in. Discernment says, not now. Discernment says, take this energy and place it over here. Discernment helps you make wise decisions when your flesh keeps making the wrong ones. Yeah. What do I do in 2022? You do write the vision, make it plain, that it may speak and it won't lie. See, at Unity, we have been given an exercise. Everybody got their envelope, right? And you knew what to do because inside of it was a list of instructions for you. First of all, you need to identify what ain't working. Tiffany Andrews, I love you, baby. You need to identify what ain't working. And then you need to say, why isn't it working? What am I doing wrong? And then once you identify the area that is going wrong, there is where you need to say, God, I need wisdom and strategy in this area. And do you know when God gives you wisdom in that area, don't be afraid to follow what he tells you to do. This young man, Brian Chesky and Joe Gibbia, alongside one of their friends, Nathan Blackcharsky, they founded the Airbnb enterprise. They could not pay their rent. See, whenever you get to a deficit, it doesn't mean that you stop and give up. It means you go harder. They were at an all-time deficit. They could not pay their rent. It's funny because one of the greatest examples of success comes through people's failure. Instead of wasting your time, your precious time, and time is the only thing that is of value that you can only give to people. And instead of you wasting time on stuff that is not going to benefit your growth, your maturity, or make you better, push yourself around people who want to be better. See, it's very true because Brian Chesky had a friend named Joe Gibbia, who had a friend named Nathan Blackcharsky. And the three of them are worth billions because they were familiar with each other. See, familiarity breeds contentment, right? I get it. But familiarity with people who want to go get it can bring a whole lot of good things. That's why you got to be careful in 2022 who you get connected to. Because it matters now. When the portal opens up and God says, now is the time, run, go. You can't have somebody saying, girl, I wouldn't do that. Nah, brother, I wouldn't do that. No. I'm going to say this. A lot of people may not agree and disagree. Don't really care. You got to take some risk. You have to. You have to take some risk because if Brian Chesky was sleeping on Joe's floor, I don't think at one time when him sleeping on the floor did he say, I'm always going to be at the bottom. Because he started from the bottom and now he's here. Don't be afraid to hit rock bottom. I used to have a friend, God rest his soul, and he used to teach me a very valuable lesson. He said, the lower you go, the higher God's got to take you, which means this. Anytime in architecture, and I have friends who are architects, anytime an architect wants to build something of magnanimous height, what he has to do, he has to dig low. It means he has to go so down in the foundation to build this foundation so strong until it will be able to hold the height of the landscaping, right? Or the skyscraper. So if you're low and you say, I can't go no lower than this, it really is all up to you how you come back. Because the scripture that I read says it's a just man that falleth 7 times, but wisdom won't make him stay there. If you are low, get ready to go high. Because it takes a level of not just enthusiasm, but wisdom. How am I going to get out of here? How am I going to stay out of here? And how do I never get here again? Once you go low, anybody that builds anything knows that it can sustain the height because the depths of how low it goes gives the foundation to hold the weight of how high it's going to be built. And even though you're at a low place right now, you don't stay there. No. You use the momentum of whatever it is that knocked you down to get up off the ground and keep moving. But say, God, how do I move in 2022? What is my exit strategy now? Listen to me. David, his father had money. He did. His daddy had money. David was a rich king. Yep, he did. In fact, David even said, Lord, I want to build your kingdom. And God said, nope. Wait a minute. But I'm your servant David. Yeah, you're my servant, but no. See, God will tell someone no to give you a yes. And in this season, you can't feel bad that God told them no and told you yes. So there is a season that you got to deal with jealousy because you may be ordained to build in this season, but them not yet. It doesn't mean that they're not going to do it. It means that it's your time. It's your season. It means that God says, I'm giving you this idea now. See, it kills me. I'm reading another book and it says that whenever you get an idea, if you don't know how to execute it, find someone else that does. My other friends do it all the time, my Jewish friends. They have an idea and if they don't know how to execute it, they go and find someone that does. See, Brian Chesky and Joe Gibbia didn't know how to take the technology side of it, and they brought their friend Nathan Beksharsky, who was good in technology, and the three of them got together on the floor and they built Airbnb. See, that's why you got to be careful when you got people around you and you're the only one thinking. And or you got people around you that's just sitting on their ideas. Or you got people around you that's just procrastinating. You got people around you and they're saying, look, I wouldn't do that. I don't have time for negative Nancy's and bitter Bobs. Everyone that is associated with Juggernaut J in 2022 has to understand we got to go do what we got to do. Do you know sometimes it takes someone to really have your back and not stab you in it? You may have somebody that says, I got to hold you up while you do this, because did you know that it could be all about all of you? You don't need jealous people around you while you're trying to build something, become better. You don't need someone around you that's trying to snatch you down like a crab in a barrel, because in 2022, the portal is already opened up. I woke up this morning and I thought that I was going to rest, and I heard God say, go now. And I've been running all day and I've been crying and I've been emotional, because what God is getting ready to do for me is I'm going to show it to y'all. So when everybody want to talk about you and call you all kind of things and call you names and throw you under the bus and call you all kind of manners of evil, check the record. They are still doing that when God is saying, I need you to pay attention. Wake up. Wake up. It's time for greatness. So in 2022, you know what you got to do. You got to focus, man. Solomon focused. He said, all of the things that I could ask you for, I'm going to ask you for wisdom. Solomon couldn't ask for no more women. He had 300 wives, 200 concubines, or something like that. Ain't no man could sleep with that many women. But he was also smart because he let the eunuchs take care of all of the women. Because if anybody's going to come up here with a baby, it wasn't going to be the baby mama, baby daddy, it was going to be the king. And so even handling his relationships, crazy or not, he used wisdom. You need wisdom for everything that you do. If you don't have anybody around you that got wisdom, you need to change your circle of friends. Yeah. If you don't, hey, Barbara Bradley, if you don't have nobody around you with wisdom, you need to change the circle of your friends. Because somebody gonna say, I know what to do. Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. And that's what you're supposed to do. Solomon said, I could ask you for money. I could ask you for more women. I could ask you for anything in the world. But what I'm going to ask you for is wisdom. And he got both. Now watch this. I'm going to hurry up and go, but let me tell you a story. The minute Solomon said, give me wisdom, God, the very thing that he asked God for, God put him in the position to use it. You don't know that story? Well, let me tell it to you really quickly. A famine came in the land, and one woman rolled over on her baby, and the other one, she took care of her baby. And so whenever you ask God for wisdom concerning anything you got to do in 2022, he's going to test that. Because the only way you get wisdom is through trial and error, right? Well, let me help you with this. He said, God, give me wisdom. The woman rolled over in her baby, and one woman, she came and she said, that's my baby. That's my baby. And the other woman said, that ain't your baby. See, that ain't your baby. And the woman says, no, we I got to say this. We ain't yours. Because it was a famine, right? It's true. Read it. He said, okay, since y'all want to fight, this is what I'm going to do. He took the baby and he turned the baby upside down. This is what he did. He turned the child upside down. And he said, since y'all want to fight, I will solve the problem as king. He took the sword and he says, what I'm going to do, this is just in the Bible, Facebook. Please don't pull it. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to take the baby and I'm going to do it like this. You take a half and you take a half. Problem solved. The woman whose baby it was, she said, hold on. Wait. Don't do that, Solomon. Let her keep it. Let her keep the baby. We do no such thing. Let her have that baby child. Let her have the baby. And the woman whose it was not her child, she said, yup, I'll take it. Solomon said, that's not your baby. Because real love understands the power of sacrifice. And you were selfish. And she displayed sacrifice. So you are not the mother. She is. Give her this baby. And then Boquisha was like, I don't want that child anyway. And then Kilolo grabbed the baby and she ran away. And she said, oh, thank you, Solomon, for your great wisdom. Because with wisdom comes discernment. With discernment comes understanding. And that's why he said, if I pray for wisdom, everything that I need to know concerning life will line up. So I am going to tell you today, with people crying on here, pray for wisdom. Pray for wisdom. What do I do about this relationship? I'm going to pray about wisdom. What do I do about this business? I'm going to pray about wisdom. The wisdom on how to execute the vision you gave me concerning this. And when you ask God for wisdom, you best to believe it's going to be challenged. And with the sacrifices that you make, you'll know that it was God, because a peace will always be associated with the right decision. Greta Smith said, thank you for this. Amber said, amen. I love you guys. So in 2022, that's what you do. You pray for wisdom. Because Brian Chesky and Joe Gibeah. They sat on the floor, and God gave them an idea, and they used wisdom to execute when they could not pay their rent in 2007. They're now worth $4.2 billion, and they are the founders of Airbnb. Remember, they couldn't pay their rent, but they had an idea, and they used wisdom, and they executed what the vision was, and it came into fruition. And all of us today are happy that they came up with the idea, right? God bless you. I'll see you guys tomorrow on Car Chronicles. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.